Hello, welcome to this video. In this video I'm painting a maple leaf and I'm showing you clips and sections how I applied wet on wet to create a gradient color. The colors I used are the Winsor red, the pink, which is like an opera rose pink. I used the yellow ochre that you can see, the brown, which is a sepia. I also used a bit of Payne's grey and cobalt blue. So you can see that what I've done is I wet the side of that leaf. So this maple leaf has got a little section that folds over, and this section I'm working with first, the folding over part of the leaf. I'm applying the yellow ochre. So what I did to start with is I wet that section with water, a clean brush, and just water, and now I'm applying the paint. So what happens when you apply the paint, you create soft edges, and you can see me in a minute. I will wet the outside of that leaf because I want that paint to go further out than the end of the leaf, so I want it to go on the paper as a background too. So you can wet the whole paper to start with and apply this around the area of the leaf and the leaf section, and then you can apply the paint, and gradually it will just soften the edges and it will spread out. So that's quite a nice effect to create. So you can see me now applying with a bigger flat brush, and this is a 3/4 inch brush, and I'm applying the water now to go all the way to the edges, and that yellow ochre will spread out. I can make it as intense as I want. I can make it lighter as well. So normally for the next application that we will add now, next color, we let that dry. So this is wet on wet technique, and I'm also creating almost like a soft edge there because you can't see the edge, but I will create an edge later on. At the moment it's been a joy to paint autumn treasures, and in my last two videos, which is called Autumn Inspirations Part 1 and Part 2, I paint different autumn treasures. I painted a rose hip, and also another video that I painted a little bit of a mushroom, a red mushroom, and a poppy seed pod as well. So you can have a look at those videos if you like after you've seen this one. Head over to my channel and have a look. They're very good videos, and I work on detail quite a lot on there as well. So this now I'm applying on the leaf is green, so I could see some green on the leaf on the reference photo. So when I used those colors that I mentioned earlier, I mixed them. So I mixed the red and the yellow ochre to create a different mixture color, and I used that on part of the leaf. I played along a little bit with the rose as well, the pink color, and I mixed it with the yellow ochre too, to create a slightly different tone value on it. What else did I mix? So I mixed the brown, which is a sepia brown. I added a little bit of red. This creates a nice warm brown color. But I also, in parts, I added the opera rose, which it also still gives you a warm color, but it's a much more vibrant color. So it gives you like a little bit of light, warm pink color on the brown. So it's quite nice. It's best to try these colors on a swap paper, a little bit of paper, watercolor paper, and just play along with different tone values that you would like to mix. To gain some colors that are a bit more true on the paper and they look nice on the paper, is mix transparent colors together and opaques separately. So when you're applying the transparents with the semi-opaques or with the opaque colors, you can end up with resulting of a color less transparency, so more flat or chalky color. And also you can create muddy colors on your paper by doing it that way. So it's always best to keep the transparent colors together, and then if you did want an opaque, don't mix it with the transparents, just separately on the painting, if that makes any sense. So this helps to create a lovely flow on your painting. Your colors will be true, and where it needs to be transparent, that will happen, and it will be much more a clearer painting that you will achieve. So in the painting now, you can see I have applied other colors here, so it's gradually taken shape, and you can also see an edge there. It's not a sharp edge, but it's there. So I will be making that background even more yellow ochre, which I will add later. So gradually I'm building up this section of the leaf, and what I'm doing is I'm working one little bit and then letting it dry and move on to another section of the leaf. The size brush I'm using is a size 1 round. Okay, so you can see now I jumped ahead and the yellow ochre is being applied here. You can see all those warm colors like the rose color and the reds blended in on the side of the leaf. So it's taking shape. There's greens and there's also the sepia brown in here. Okay, so I'm going to play some music for you and I'll come back to you soon. section now I'm applying water on, again going outside the drawing edge of the leaf, and I'm applying it with a bigger brush. So this size brush is a size 4, and I'm trying to apply water to this section of the paper only. I don't want to go all around the leaf because otherwise it will dry by the time I get there. So I'm applying the yellow ochre to start with because that's the lightest color I can see on the reference photo, and I'm letting that yellow ochre come out as well on the rest of the paper. Then I'm going in now with the opera rose, so I'm applying that opera rose around where I can see, and this is going to be light to start with, but I'll get darker and darker, and I'll apply layers and let it dry in between those layers as the painting progresses. So I'm just dropping the paint here, and I'm mainly dropping it to start with the consistency, the thicker consistency, closer to the leaf I painted so far. So you can see that I'm applying it there, and what happens, because the whole thing is wet, it will just spread quite easily. But I am helping it a little bit because I want to get faster at this, because it's still wet and I don't want it to dry, to get all around the other area that you can see that is wet still. So you can see how that paint is spreading nicely around the edges as well. It's almost going out further than what I like it to go, but that's fine because this will dry much lighter than what it is right now. So I'm back to the size 1 round brush, and now I'm just wetting the brush, and with the same paint I'm just spreading it on the dry paper. So you could see the difference. Before it was wet on wet, now it's wet on dry on this section. But I need to go back to that section on the edge there, because you can see where I got to on the pink is drying, and that will create a hard edge because I haven't wet the section beyond that. So I'm just wetting the background bit outside the leaf as well, because I want that pink to come out onto the paper, onto the background. But I'm being very careful not to lose the edge of the leaf. So what I do is I place the paint, and if it's not spreading nicely, I'll apply water to that and keep on helping it to move how I want it to go. So you can see now on that left side is drying, and I'm creating a hard edge at the moment as I'm leaving it. So now I'm spreading that water around, and I'm moving it now, and it's still okay because there is a lot of water there. See, now I'm softening that edge again. And you might need to work a little bit more on it, but you can still achieve that soft edge because it's not dried completely. So I'm going to put some music again for you, and I'll come back in a bit. So you can see now how the painting has progressed. I painted the veins and I applied also more paint on sections of the leaf, and you can see the difference. So you can see those softs, yellow ochre with the pinks blended in nicely. I also applied blue in one section, and you can see it quite clearly and how light it has dried. For each time that I wanted to apply the paints, I wet that section of the leaf, so one side first where the vein is, sort of one side of the vein, then the other side of the vein, and doing sections like that. By doing it this way, you create those soft edges between each color, and they make a gradual transition between one to the other, so they blend in nicely together, so you won't have any hard edges. You can continuously go over again while it's still wet and apply a much thicker consistency, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm creating a very thick consistency, and I'm using that red color now on this to make it darker. So it doesn't matter too much because this is going to spread a little bit on the paper where I'm applying it, but also it will go lighter a bit. But I want to create that effect that I can see on the reference photo. So I do the same on the other side, but keeping that yellow ochre, saving those colors that I applied, and also on the other leaf that is got a very dark vein on it as well. So I'm being very careful to add a bit of darker consistency. So in here I mixed a bit of the Winsor Violet as well to create a darker shadow, especially under the leaf that's folding over. So I started doing the violet, and then what I did is I used the sepia brown to get quite close to the edge of that leaf that's folding over to create a really intense shadow. So what we have to remember when we're painting something like this is to let it dry each section, and then go back to it later if you want it darker again. So now I'm leaving that other section, and you can see how light is gone. And the section I'm working on now, I'm applying the sepia brown and the yellow ochre. So I'm applying a lot more detail on this little bit because it was quite different. And this is the interesting thing about this maple leaf. It's quite different throughout the whole leaf. It changes from pink to the yellow ochre and the browns, and the folding over as well. I thought it was quite an interesting leaf to paint. I'm also very excited to share with you that I did create a tutorial of this. So a real-time tutorial is accessible in my website. I will pop the link on the description below so you can access it and go straight to my tutorial in my website. So I'd like to also give you a heads up that at the moment for this season I am giving away this tutorial for free to all my subscribers that subscribe to my art letters in a creative advice for artists alike. So if you like to receive this great offer and take the opportunity to be able to paint this leaf in real time for this season, then head over to my website and you can subscribe to my letters, which is the creative advice for artists alike, and you will receive an email with links for the tutorial, and you'll also have the reference photo and the materials list. I will be popping down all the links below on the description so you can access the website and also the blog or the tutorial. So now you can see how I created the colors on this leaf. So it's coming along beautifully, and it's taking shape. And I also have some highlights and some shadows that are taking part on this leaf right now. Okay, so I'm going to put some music for you right now, and I'll come back to you towards the end. So in this section now I'm applying the cobalt blue. I did apply a little bit of, you can see on the other side of the leaf, but I thought it just needed that blue there, which is like a reflection. And then I'm going over on this vein, I'm applying a little bit more of the cobalt blue as well, and then I apply the Payne's grey to make it darker and more intense. So we're coming close to the end of this video, and I want to say thank you very much for following if you are still watching the video till the end. So I'm very grateful, and I hope you have found it helpful and enjoyed it at the same time. If you would like me to create certain videos covering a subject or a technique in watercolors that you would like to learn about or understand a little bit better, please pop it in the comments. I would love to hear about it, and I will see what I can do for you. I will certainly try to make a video that will help you with that. Please consider subscribing to my channel. It will not only help me, but also you will receive notifications when I upload new content on this channel. And if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon. And in the meantime, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.